I'd like to draw your attention to the way I lengthen the tubes. Though I believe most of you know already that we connect tubes behind a pole to hide a joint. If the poles are thicker or placed closer to each other, they are absolutely invisible. According to my scheme, I have to lead a working tube in front of one pole and then behind three. So, in any point between my fingers, I can lengthen the tube. I prefer working with scissors like this, cut slantwise. In this case I always use dragon glue. School glue doesn't suit me because it is too slow drying. I take another tube, squeeze it with my fingers thoroughly. The whole tube except the very tip to put on. Press the joint with my fingers and squeeze the tube once again to make it flexible. That's all. The joint is not going to come apart. In front of one, behind three, according to my pattern, and continue. I have woven 3 rows. I'd like to draw your attention to the detail I faced while working. Let's look at the way I weave, right to left. Afterwards we will discuss the case of weaving in the opposite direction. Look, to finish the 3rd row, I have to lead a working tube behind 2 poles. Here my 3rd group of poles finishes. From this point I am going to start the 4th row. I have led the tube behind 2 poles. Now let's look at the 4th row. It starts behind 2 poles as well. Actually, my tube is supposed to go behind 4 poles at once, but it doesn't work, it is too much. That's why I've solved the problem in the following way. I've finished the 3rd row behind 1 pole and in front of one. This way I've deviated from the original scheme, but done it deliberately. But if you check the 4th row, it starts behind 2 poles and finishes in front of one, so everything coincides. So here we've led the tube in front of one, after which continue following the scheme of the 4th row, behind 2 poles, in front of 3, and so on. Once again. When I reach the end of the 4th row, there will be in front of one, the same as I was starting with. The same happens when passing from the 8th to the 9th row. Don't forget that I weave right to left. So in the end of the 8th row I will have to lead the tube behind 3 poles, while the 9th row has to be started behind 2, which is actually behind 5 at once. So here I'm going to lead the tube behind 2 in front of 1, instead of behind 3. Here it is, in front of 1 pole in the end of the 9th row, and I don't break the pattern. Just a couple of words. If you weave left to right, look at the table. In the end of the 7th row, one has to weave behind 1 pole, while in the beginning of the 8th row the tube has to go behind 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. In the similar way, among these 3, you will have to weave 1 in front of a pole. That's all, the pattern continues okay. I'm not going to concentrate attention on this point. When you start you will notice that it doesn't look nice if you lead a working tube behind more than 3 poles. That's why you change the position of one of these poles either in the end of the preceding row or at the beginning of the following one. Actually, that was the whole tutorial. As I've already said, the pattern doesn't require any special skills. Everyone has mastered the technique of printed cotton weave. As for the basic details to concentrate your attention, I believe I have commented on them. I don't think it necessary to show you how I weave all the 16 rows, because it takes too much time. You just look at the scheme very attentively all the time, as well as at the article itself. Don't distract your attention, concentrate, and the pattern will be gradually getting clear. Thank you a lot, Natasha. I'm going to finish the article as soon as I get enough spare time, and I will show it to everybody. If I have any questions, I will ask Natalia, and we will discuss them in the comments to the tutorial. Right now we are looking forward to more enjoyable moments instead of torturing my visitors with the necessity to be weaving too long. If you have any questions, we are always happy to answer. We also ask you questions and learn from you. So thank you very much. Goodbye.